today I'm going to show you how to make this DIY rose knot wall hanging. Stay tuned. Don't forget to take a screenshot of today's project details. Now let's get started. For this project I'm using an 8-inch branch, but you can use a wooden dowel if you can't find one. First we're going to attach a regular lark's head knot with our first strand of cord. Just make sure that your left side is shorter than your right side because we're going to run it across our branch. Next, working with the right side of the same cord, we're going to tie a running lark's head knot. To tie this knot, wrap your cord up around behind your branch, bring it around the left side, under, back over the top, and then through your loop. It sounds a little bit more complicated than it is. There's actually several ways to tie a lark's head knot. I'll leave a link in the cards above. Next, I'm just tying 1/2 hitch on each side of our lark's head knots. Tying these half hitches really helps prevent our cord from sliding around. With the rest of our cords, we're going to find the center by folding it in half, and then we're going to be tying some reverse lark's head knots. I chose to do reverse lark's head knots for this pattern because it kind of disguises it as double half hitches. I wanted it to appear like a seamless line of double half hitches from one side of the branch to the other. What do you think? Okay, so let's remove the first and last cord up and out of the way. We're going to be using them a bit later. Next, grab the first 4 cords and we're going to be tying a berry knot. So to accomplish a berry knot, it is just stacking 3 square knots on top of each other and then folding it over. As always, I'd like to remind you that if I'm going too fast, you can always tap the 3 dots on the top right corner to slow down the video. Or if you need further instructions, I do have a knot tutorial playlist. I'll link that in the card above. But back to our berry knot. I like to leave a small gap at the very top where we started our square knots, because with this next step, we're going to grab the center cords and then stuff it right through the top. Now I've done this quite a few times, so I'm used to cramming it in there, but it might be helpful if you use some fishing line. That way you can kind of pull it through and guide it and you won't have a big struggle. Okay, so once you get it in there, you just pull it taut and it kind of rolls up onto itself. And then we're going to tie another square knot to secure our berry knot. In some of the vintage macrame patterns, they actually call this a button knot. But in the modern macrame, we call this a berry knot. Alrighty, so for this pattern, we're going to do a complete row of berry knots. So I'm just going to motor on. Okay, now here's the really fun part. We're going to turn these berry knots into my easy rose knot. Okay, so to make my easy rose knot, we just form a loop with the tail ends, just like so. And then we place the loop right over top of our berry knot. Once you have it lassoed on there, we just cinch it up and kind of tug it into the shape that we like. The trick here is not to have it too loose, but not snug either. You kind of need to find that happy medium tension. Alrighty, so I'm just going to repeat the same thing to the other berry knots. I'm very proud of this knot. I am the one who invented this technique, so if you do use this knot, please tag me on Instagram. I would love to see it. There's actually a few different ways that you can tie a rose knot, but this one is incredibly easy. It also doesn't involve any weaving, and you can have the option of working it in as you go along with your pattern. We're not attaching any pieces. Okay, now we're going to take care of the 2 cords that we had moved to the side. And we're going to use them as the filler cords for a row of double half hitches. So with the nature of the rose knot, it kind of ends up gathering our cords into bunches. But I did not want that happening for the bottom of our work, so when we tie a row of double half hitches, it really helps fan them out. I do want to point out that when we start our double half hitches, you want to leave a little bit of a gap that's tucked in behind the rose knot. And try not to tie your double half hitches too snug up against the rows, otherwise it will form kind of a scallop edge effect, which is cool, but for this project I wanted it kind of straight. Alrighty, so once you get to the center, move your filler cord out of the way and grab the other side and do the exact same thing. Once you reach the center, grab your 2 filler cords and we're going to tie 1 more double half hitch to tie them together. Now give her a quick little trim. This doesn't have to be perfect, we're just kind of getting the shape. And now we're going to be combing out the fringe here. And then your final trim. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, I sure hope you would consider subscribing. Also, here are 2 more videos I think you'll enjoy. I'll see you over there.